technical issues, but I think that's being resolved. So thanks so much for coming. My name is Urbano Garza. I'm one of the assistant deans in the Office of Student Affairs. And the reason why we're here is just to go over the assistantships process. The presentation itself is rather short. I mean, you will see it, and it's rather simple. And we just want to be able to leave some time in the end for questions that you might have. Okay? So, let's start with this. First thing I want to talk about, you probably are aware of this, but I just want to go over it rather quickly. There are 5 different categories of assistantships that are offered through this particular process. There is a TA, and the information is there. By the way, this information will be posted on OrgSync, so you don't necessarily have to take notes. You will be able to access this PowerPoint presentation later on when the application opens later today. They are readers, they are PA faculty. These are the students that work. Often they're referred to as PAs, but they work in a somewhat different capacity. Then we have PAs, or program assistants, that work in offices. Those are the students that you see in concentrations, specializations, in offices such as admissions, financial aid, student affairs, etc. And there are also student assistants. That's the category through which students work the least number of hours. That's just in terms of the different positions that you can apply for. There will be 2 separate applications. There is one for fall positions, which is what you will be able to access and apply for later today. It opens today. The deadline is a week from today. You will see, doesn't seem like a lot of time, but it will take you almost no time to apply for these positions, and I'll go through that in a second. The deadline, as I said, is a week from today, and the results for fall positions are announced by April 26th of this year. Then later on, we will open, it's the exact same process, but for spring 2020 positions. The application opens on March 26th, the deadline is the 2nd, and the results for that are in June. And the reason why those happen in June is because faculty, especially faculty, want to be able to have your spring rate in order to ascertain who will be a good fit for TA positions and for reader positions. So this is what you have. Now, who can apply for these? Students working through the academic standing, which basically means you need to have at least a 3.0 cumulative GPA by the time that you apply. For the majority of you, that means your GPA from the fall semester. There are some of you that started in spring of 2018, and that will be the combination of the GPA from spring 2018 and fall 2018. There are some of you who may or may not be here who just started, and you're also eligible to apply for positions if you happen to be selected, more than likely for a position in the spring for a class that you may be starting to take now, will be contingent upon you earning a 3.0 GPA at the end of this semester, but you're eligible to apply. Also, those of you who are selected for any of these positions must be enrolled for at least 12 credits at SIPA during the semester in which the assistantship is supposed to take place. This is the application. It's just a screenshot, but I will take it there in a second. Of the application itself. It's rather simple. Later on, we're going to send you a link that takes you to OrgSync, to our landing page, which I want to show to you. Sorry, here it is. So we will be sending a link to all of you later this afternoon. Oops. Let me see. Sorry about that. Here it is. And basically, we'll have 5 things. One is just a guide, information about the process, which is rather simple. Something else that we'll find rather helpful is this document right here, which is a description of all the different, it's a document that let me open it so you can see it. It's a description of all the different positions available for the fall semester. They're listed here by category. You can either click on them and it will take you to the actual description, or you can just scroll down. And it will tell you, for example, if you want to apply for a TA position in a particular class, and you see it listed here, you will see that perhaps as a faculty member, one of the requirements is that you must have taken that particular class. That's the majority of the cases, but that may not necessarily be the case. But this is where you can find out before you actually apply, what are the requisites for that particular position, for that particular job. As I said before, this is for the fall semester only. We will go through the same iteration for spring position later this spring semester. In addition to the job descriptions, there is the actual application, and the link will be posted later on. Additionally, we thought it might be helpful for us to provide you with the actual PowerPoint, and it will be listed there later on this afternoon as well. But let me go through to the rest of this. Sorry, my eyesight is failing me. Here. So this is the actual application, and what you will do, you basically will highlight the different positions in which you are interested. There is no penalty for applying for as many positions as you think that you are eligible to apply for. And what happens after the application closes is that we collect that information and we send it to the respective faculty or offices in which you expressed an interest. The intern will review it. They actually are the ones who decide whether they require to have an interview. A question that often arises is, well, my friend has been asked to attend, to go for an interview for this particular position. I applied for this other position, but I've not been asked to interview. It's one of two reasons. Either that particular position does not require interviews, or up to that point, and if you're asking the question, you cannot yet been selected to attend an interview. It's one of those two things. If you have questions, you can always ask the person in charge of that particular position, whether it is a faculty member or a manager in the case of offices. And again, what you will do here basically is just go through the application itself and decide which positions you're interested in applying for. And at the end, you click submit. That's basically all you have to do in terms of applying for positions. Something that is also very important is for you to upload an updated resume. And you will see that there is a link on top of the application, and you can choose your file and you can upload it. Those are basically the two things that you have to do when you apply. Complete the actual application, select the positions in which you're interested, upload your application, and click submit. It is really that simple. That's why I told you it was going to take a little time to go through this. What happens after you apply, you actually get an email to your uni, your Columbia University email, that would list the different positions in which you were interested, or the positions for which you applied. In this particular case, as an example, this person applied for the PA position in EPD, also in the management specialization at PA, in a reader position. And it actually, you will receive this email that says this is what you applied for. Once you submit the application, you cannot go back and edit it. In those rare instances in which you might realize, oh, I missed this, or I made an error, you can come to our office and we'll help you correct that. But you cannot go back and edit the application and resubmit it. Questions? I mean, it is really this simple, but I just wanted to leave time for us to answer your questions in terms of what happens with it. Yes, go ahead.
How many positions are you allowed to apply for?
The question is how many positions you apply for. You can apply for all of them. There's no penalty. However, there is something that I want to explain to you that you should keep in mind. As I mentioned, there are different categories of assistantships for which you can apply. and they're listed here. TA, reader, TA faculty, TA officers, and student assistants. So what happens when you apply is the following. Let's just say that you apply for one TA position, one week. Once we receive information, as I mentioned, we will send your name to each one of those positions. The ones that are decided on first are the TA positions. So if you happen to be selected for the TA position for which you apply, then you're taken out of the running for the following positions. So you do have to take into consideration that if you say, I want to apply for the TA, but I'm really, really interested in the TA position for faculty, which is the third one. If that's like, if you say I want to work in the EPD concentration or in energy concentration, that's really my first preference. But if you happen to apply for a TA in an energy and you were the best student in that particular class, and there's a likelihood that you will be chosen for that, that's what you will receive. Because your name is sent to all the different positions, but the ones that get to select their students first are the TA. Because those are the positions that require the most skills. Okay, anybody else? Any other questions about the process? What happened? Yes?
Yes, so if you're taken out of the running for other positions,
Uh-huh.
would you potentially get multiple offers for TA?
No,
Or
you
in the
get,
future, you're only assigned one?
you're only assigned one. And the way that it works is as follows. So let's say that you apply for 3 TA positions, not one, because you can't. So your name is sent to the faculty, and let's say that you're really good and the 3 of them want you for those 3 in the fall semester. So what happens is that there is a time, once the faculty make their decisions, that there is a meeting amongst faculty members, and the order in which they get to select is randomized. So one professor happens to be the one to select first, and then there's the second one. And if you apply, for example, for instance, statistics, and statistics is the person, is the faculty member that gets to choose first, and he's selecting you, that's what you will get. But you will not be receiving a letter saying you are selected for these 3 positions and you get to choose. It is the faculty in that randomization process that takes care of that. Any other, yes?
Is that also the case with leader positions? Like, can you work as a leader for 2 courses at the same time during class?
Generally, no. You get 1 position. Now, what does happen, however, is that you may be able to have 1 position, let's say a student assistant, and then you are able to get another position elsewhere. The rule here really, in general, for employment at the university, whether you're an international student or not, is that you cannot work more than 20 hours per week during the regular semester. But in terms of assistantships, you only get 1. Yes?
So with that in mind, how does this work with work study? Is it supplement to or including?
You could potentially get an a work study position, provided the particular assignment that you have for the semester allows you to work that number of hours and not exceed the 20 hours.
So if you were a TA, you could.
You cannot work.
study as well.
Correct. You're welcome. Yes?
Just for clarification, is the 12,000 per semester or per year?
Thank you for the question. It's per semester. It's per semester. And I also want to, well, it's actually there, it says salary. I was going to clarify that. Yes?
Will the application have all of the courses available?
Yes.
Are there some that pop up later on?
The question is, are all available positions for assistantships in the fall semester listed? As of today, yes. And the question is, are there any others that pop up? Yes. I'll give you an example that typically happens. There's a need to add an additional section for a particular class, and that necessitates a TA. That usually happens pretty much right before the semester starts, so it's kind of a rush at the end to try to get an additional TA when it happens. But the majority of them are listed already. Also, something else I want to mention, because it does happen. You may be in a class that you see that is a TA, or what people assume to be a TA, And you ask, and that person is not from SIPA, or maybe from SIPA, but did not go through this particular process. There are instances in which faculty may have their own grant funds, and it is through that they hire their own, their own PAs. That's why what we have through this particular process is what's listed on the application as of today. Yes, back there.
Could you please tell us about the distinction between PA faculty and office? And also, my second question would be, is it possible to do a RA at the same time if you're given an opportunity?
Well, so the first question, the difference between the PA faculty and the office. So PA faculty, the reason why we say faculty is because those are students that are associated, that are working in concentrations and specializations. So by default, their supervisors are the directors who happen to be faculty. That's who they are. And in offices, it's offices, like career services, alumni affairs, and so forth. And the other question was about what RAs, you said?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Research assistant?
I know, but within the university as a whole, or?
Yeah, because I don't see the RA as a list up here. Yeah, so do you include that?
There are a couple of positions that are RAs, typically every year, and they're actually true research assistants. And they're usually 2 per year. And those are research assistants that are hired by faculty to do exactly that, research assistant. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, because they tend to be for the same faculty and they may be on leave, or they may be on sabbatical. But you cannot have the two at the same time because they carry the same hour load. Yes?
So please tell us what does a student assistant do? So this job.
The last one, the bottom? Yes. So that is a category that is also, so there are 3 categories that work with faculty. The TAs, which is what you see in your classes of quantitative analysis, economics, and so forth. And they work with students, they hold recitations. The next one down, the reader, they do almost the same thing as the PA, they work less hours and they do not hold recitations. And the student assistants provide administrative support to classes. So the amount of work that they provide is a lot less. Basically, there are things, it's logistical support. There are some classes that have guest lecturers, so they take care of arrangements for that. They put things on reserve. It is that type of thing. But they're not directly involved in the instructional support for that particular class. Yes?
So for something like a student assistantship, could you hypothetically get more than one since it wouldn't get you up to that 20-hour time limit, or you can only get one of any kind?
You typically get only one, and the reason is because there are so many students that are eligible for this position. Any other questions? Also for positions, the PA, excuse me, the PA faculty and PA officers, you actually get to submit time sheets, but you will worry about when you get to that point. As I mentioned this, but maybe because we've been doing this for a while, but it is rather simple. The role that we play, that student affairs plays in this office, you can think of it as a human resources role. I mean, we get information from faculty. These are in offices. These are the positions that need support, instructional administrative support. We put them together in an application. We let you know when the application is up. We collect the information. We send it back to them. They let us know, and then we let you know. So we're kind of going between. I'm telling you this because it creates confusion sometimes that we are making the decisions, but in our office we do not make decisions. We only make decisions for those that apply to work in our office. But for everybody else, we're basically conveying the information and the results that we receive from different offices. Yes?
Is this salary a stipend or hourly basis?
It's hourly.
It's hourly, so it's taxed?
It is taxed, yes. Yes?
For the positions that come later in the semester, how will the notification?
It depends on what it is. The question is for positions that may come up later, So if there happens to be in one, if there happens to be the need for additional support, whether it's a PA or a reader, in a class that is already listed here, we already have a list of students that express an interest in that particular one. So that list is already self-selected. And what we do is we send that information to faculty. Actually, they start the process. And then they have this information they select from there, and we let the student know. If it happens to be a new course, usually faculty, it depends on the nature of the course. Usually faculty communicate amongst themselves, and they're able to identify what particular skills are needed from the students. But typically what they can receive, and oftentimes receive, is a list of everyone who has not yet been assigned. And they receive information about, at least they may receive information about the concentration, so they're able to narrow it down based on that. Yes?
Are there continuing scholarships for second years next year?
I don't know yet. I understand it's been discussed, but if there happens to be one, we will definitely notify everyone right away.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes?
Hey, wait, so sorry if I missed it. It's paid out like a salary instead of put directly towards your.
That is correct. It's a salary. It's a straight salary. Correct. So I just want to tell you what's going to happen once you leave. Later this afternoon, just look for an email, which is going to have a link to the landing page on OrgSync. Once you're there, you'll be able to click on the job descriptions, on the application itself so you can file it. Look out for that email that you will receive once you found your application. If you find later that, wow, I forgot that I received an A+ in this class, you said I want to do this, you can come and see us in the office and we can try to accommodate that to include it. But it will have to happen relatively soon because once the application closes a week from today, we collect that information, we clean the data, and then we send that out to the respective offices. And then the decisions go out in April. And later on, we will also be sending a reminder. Well, we'll send you a reminder next week when the application is about to close. So you can, and also let your friends know, those that may not be here. And the same thing is going to happen for the spring semester, for the spring application. And we will be sending information as to when it opens and also a reminder. Yes?
Curious. If I heard correctly, the 12,000 for TA is an hourly wage, correct? So 20 is the max.
No, absolutely, no.
It's a sum.
The first two positions, the TA and the readers, they're not hourly wage. They just get paid every 2 weeks.
Okay.
That amount of money. The other ones are hourly.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yes, go ahead.
I know a couple of years ago, salaries were cut for TAs and all the other positions, and there wasn't much of a heads up. Can we expect this for this coming semester? No, I'm just a warning.
No, to expect what?
Can we expect these to be the salaries?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, exclamation mark. And I mean, we'll stick around here for a little while. You have any more questions? And if something else comes up later, just come see us on the 6th floor in the office student affairs. Somebody has a question, please. I don't know the actual percentage, because it has to do with treaties, depending on the countries where students come from. So I think the best source of information would be ISSO. Okay, thank you so much for coming, and I know you need to go to class, some of you. And again, if you have any more questions, I'm going to stick around for a little while.